Can you please give us a small introduction to yourself and how you got into writing?
I've always written stories like growing up, and then I always knew that I wanted to write a book. And in 2012, I got a really bad viral infection, and I ended up in hospital. Um, and after that, when I came out, I had a really bad case of Bell's palsy, which is where you're paralysed down one side of your face.
Damn.
And I said, I'm going to publish a book. So I started writing my book in 2012, and then in 2018, I finally published. So it took me 5 years, but I finally got there. So yeah, and the rest is history.
And what a great achievement as well. Publishing a book is just the biggest achievement, and to do that through such a hard time as well, I think that's brilliant.
Thank you.
What drew you to your current genre or style?
I just love romance, contemporary romance. Yeah, it's my jam. So they say write what you love, don't they? Or
Yeah,
not necessarily what you know, but yeah. So it's just something that I've always enjoyed reading. So I knew I was always going to write romance. It was never not in question. So
never a question.
no,
Was there a first romance book that you remember that made you fall in love with the genre?
God, like I'm really going to out my age here, but probably like Mills and Boons. Like I'm talking
Mm.
like old school. And then obviously I know a bit later on you got your 50 Shades of Grey and those kind of books, and they open such a big door for so many of us. So really, it just it paved the way, really, didn't it, for the rest of us indie authors?
Spiraled, yeah. Yeah, I remember I never got into reading until high school, and there was one book that I always tell people, and you know the After series.
Yeah,
I saw that the trailer for that, and then I saw it was a book, and that immediately
that was
had
it.
to read it, and it literally spiraled from there. I think I read that quite quickly, and I didn't realise, because I've always read books that I've not really connected to, and as soon as you find the genre that you love, it's just, for me, it's so easy to just get into reading, and now I'm
Yeah,
obsessed with it.
yeah, wouldn't have it any other way now, would you? It's like, yeah.
No, I really wouldn't. I truly am a book addict. I'd be reading whenever I could if I had the chance.
Yeah, if I could, I'd just want to read all day too.
So I want to read all my paperbacks, but I prefer a Kindle because it's just so convenient, and you can just literally like roll out of bed and get your Kindle. But I've left it in my dad's car, so
I don't. Have you got the app on your phone? I literally live off my phone, so I've just got the app on my phone. It's so handy.
I used to read off my phone one, but then it affected my eyesight. So I tried to stay away from it as much as
Yeah.
possible. But it's been such a hectic week, and I've had a bit of a weird mood weekend where I just was so like lagging. So I haven't actually been in the mood to read, because I finished a book and that was a really great book, and then I haven't started again. So I'm going to pick up one of my many TBR books and get started with
You
that.
read off your TBR. I'm the worst. I'm such a mood reader. Like, literally, I'll say I'm going to read that, and 5 years later, I'm like, I've still not read it.
Saying that, yeah, I probably won't end up reading off my TBR. The problem is, you've got all these Instagram reels where it says a scene out of a book, and immediately like, okay, I'm going to download that
Yeah,
and
that's
read that
me.
one.
I'm that person. Any hook like that, I'm like, oh, quick screenshot that, and then I'll run to Amazon and have a look and say, oh, it's in KU. I'll grab that.
Yeah, and it's so sad when it's not in KU and it's in one of those, those reading apps where you have to pay like £30 for a book.
Yeah, as much as I'd love to, I can't. Yeah.
No, I did that once and it was like £7, and I had to stop, and I was like, I didn't realise how much I just spent on a, not even, I don't even have the ebook, it's just on the app where I can't even come back to it probably. But
Heartbreak.
they're so addictive. Would you say you're more plot driven or people driven in your books?
A little bit of both. My characters are always very important to me. I like to show like the vulnerable sides of
Mm.
everybody. I think like we're all vulnerable, we all struggle. Ultimately, I think if my characters can resonate with you, and the plot obviously, develops from them, I think that's my main goal. I think it's more character driven, to be honest.
But yeah, I think with a lot of people, these characters do drive it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's their book, and the plot. Yeah, it's such an important part of
Yeah,
it, but the characters are the main. It's what the readers are there for as well. Do you ever see yourself in your characters, or are they totally different?
gosh. No, I do. I do. I resonate with a lot of my characters. In quite a lot of my characters, you'll always find a little bit of me. And some of I'm only giggling because I have a Love in Lockdown series which turns 3 this year. And there's a couple of things that happened in those books that actually did happen to me. Not like finding the love of my life, but yeah. So there's a couple of bits that, yeah, when I say, oh, that actually did happen to me, people are like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, that happened. Yeah, no, a little bit of me's in most of my characters, to be fair.
You have to pull things from everyday life to write your books. It's like you get inspiration from everywhere
Yeah,
and yourself. So if you can't write about what's happening in your life, then you need to express yourself and,
exactly.
especially in a time like that, to be able to write a book and to kind of decompress and I don't know, was it really helpful for your time during the lockdown situation to
Yeah,
kind of get out of it?
because during lockdown, that's when it's happenstance because I'm a full-time author now, like I write
Mm.
full-time. But I hadn't planned to go full-time, but then obviously COVID happened and I just moved house. So I'd relocated, I'd moved house, and my job was like an hour and a half away, like in London. And I was just like, I can't keep doing that kind of commute because I have EDS as well, like I have a chronic
Yeah.
illness and it's a lot on my body. And then I ended up like handing in my notice. And then right on top of that, we had COVID. So where everybody was getting furloughed, I wasn't. I literally just was without a full time job. So I was just like, that's it. Then I'm going to give it my all, and put everything into my writing. So that's for that. Obviously, for that 2 years, especially. Yeah, I just literally locked myself away and just concentrated on trying to improve on my craft and get my books out there. Because at that time, I only had two books out, which isn't a lot, really, I think. And then I published two more books that year, and then the year after, I published five. So
Oh,
it
wow.
varied quite significantly.
Mm.
But I'm sort of an average. I sort of publish about two, three books a year. So like I know what I can accomplish now. I think five was pushing it for me
Yeah.
anyway. I'm not that kind of rapid writer. I'm not that kind of rapid releaser. But yeah, so I found sort of like my sweet spot now. But yeah, it definitely did help me during that time, especially because we'd moved. I was away from like my family. We were
Yeah.
sort of even more so. We were more isolated than we would have been before we moved. But I don't regret moving. I do love where I live now. So
Did you move to London or out of London,
out
did you
of
say?
London, yeah. So I
I bet
lived
that
in
was.
North London, yeah. So literally just on the outskirts of London, and then I moved to east of England. So and it's very different, like pace of life here. Like I'm
Yeah.
still very much that London person. Like I'm very like fast. Like when I go somewhere, I'm like slow down, slow your rolls. Like not everybody's in a rush because it's a very different. I'm not saying I live like out in the country, but it's
Yeah.
surprising how just an hour and a half away from like
So
London.
different.
Yeah, so different.
I'm definitely not a city person. I mean, that was the biggest godsend for me during that time because I'm in the countryside. So I didn't quite feel the constrictionness of not being able to leave because I had my garden that I could escape to and I
Exactly.
could, when it was possible, you could go on walks and there was places that I could go. And a lot of people sadly did not have that, especially in London. So I bet it's really nice that you moved before
Definitely.
that happened so you could have a bit more.
Yeah, especially like because we've got my little pooch Luna, she's a little rescue, and it's just like even having her and having a park that's literally 5 minutes away. I know that we've got garden like a back garden
Mm,
and whatnot, but having that ability to be able to just walk 5 minutes up the road and there's a park she can go to as well. It's so nice. Yeah,
yeah. Do you find yourself going back to London quite often? Do you miss it or?
I do miss it. Like I used to work on Park Lane, just opposite Hyde Park. I mean, what a way! It was lovely. I mean, I used to work in a basement, but
Mm.
during lunchtime, I could just go out and go over to Hyde Park for lunch. I mean, it was beautiful. But I do not miss the commute. The commute in life was not for me. But I have had a few stories come from commuting. It's amazing what you pick up with people around you. No, I've only been back a couple of times now. I go back to visit family, and I still have to have appointments that are obviously London based. But other than that, I'm pretty much set where I am now. And every time I get sort of closer to London, my anxiety peaks.
Really?
Like, yeah, like especially if I'm driving, I'm like, yeah, I don't miss this, I don't miss this. It's just a different way of life.
It's so chaotic. I mean, every time I've been, it's kind of like I do get a bit anxious. And I've been lost in London twice as a child, so that
It's awful.
kind of scarred me. And it was before I got a phone as well, so I just, yeah, Tower Bridge, I'm staying away from you. So it's just a completely different lifestyle, and I kind of wanted to get into publishing or the marketing side of it anyway. And sadly, all the jobs are just in London. And
Do
I
you
just,
think there's more remote now, though, wouldn't you?
yeah, but I think a lot of it is like 2 to 3 days, and that's a 2 hour train drive, and it's too much. So
It
I'd have to probably move to London, and I just don't think I'm cut out for that, especially not on my own anyway.
It's such a big commitment relocating, and you have to be. I think you've got to be like 100% in it to
Mm,
want to do that. I think it's such a big, like it's such a big change, and you've got to be happy, don't you? At the end of the day,
yeah.
you know, if you're not happy or something makes you like anxious to the point where you don't feel well, then I'm like, no. Like I get anxious like being an author and stuff because I'm an introvert. Naturally, I'm an introvert,
Mm.
so I do
Same.
struggle, and I don't often smile. So if someone's looking at me, I probably look like I'm just grumpy, but I'm not. I'm nice. Please approach me. I will smile, but I've got that resting bitch face.
I probably smile too much like a loon. That's my coping, because I'm an introvert as well. And I'm like, hi,
And then I'm not
hello.
going to walk off or something, random. But yeah,
Yeah, just you wait until the signing event. I'd be like, hey,
I'll be like, hi.
nice to meet you. And I'll probably just start spouting random nonsense as well, goodness knows.
No, that's me. Don't worry about it. I think most of us are like that, though, to be fair, aren't we?
Yes. What's your ideal writing environment? Do you like chaos, calm, going to coffee shops, or a night owl?
I'm such a little homebody. Like, I'm quite lucky because I've got my little office here and then I've got my garden. To be fair,
Mm.
it's been a bit difficult because there's been quite a few people that are like doing building work. It's that time of year, isn't it? So
Yeah.
you have to sort of think, oh, am I going to get a quiet day today in the garden? Because I think I have like noise sensitivity. So when there's a lot going on around me, sometimes it can get too much. So sometimes I put my headphones on and that's fine. But ultimately, yeah, I'm quite happy to just write like in my office or in my garden, but obviously when the weather permits. Yeah, ultimately, no. I can't say I've ever really been like a coffee shop writer or anything like that.
No.
I mean, I've taken my laptop when I was commuting, but it was quite a heavy lump. Or if I've had an appointment at the hospital, I take my laptop with me then and whatnot. But other than that, yeah, I'm quite happy to just sit in my little office, squirrel away. But I've started to do like more live sprints and stuff like that on TikTok now.
Yeah.
So I think that's helped, and I found like a new reach of readers, and the people that I found over there are absolutely lovely, which is nice. Found a nice side of TikTok.
Yes,
That's
because
been
there's
really,
many not nice sides of it.
yeah, it can get very toxic.
I mean, Bookstagram is, and that's why I call it Bookstagram, Book Talk. It's all lovely and great, and it's a great community, some lovely people, but sadly there are bad sides to it,
Fortunately.
and it's just trying to find the right people and stay away from that side of it.
Yeah,
It
which
can
can
be
be
a
so
bit,
hard sometimes because without realising it, you end up down a rabbit hole, don't you? And like, I don't even know what's going on. What's going on? But yeah,
yes,
sadly.
definitely. Can you please give us a brief overview of one of your series that you love, or where you recommend readers to start with your books?
I always giggle at this one. I've got 14 books out, and I've got an interconnected series, which is my Embers series, which a lot of my readers enjoy, which starts with Burning Embers, and that's an opposites attract, single mum, found family. Most of my books are always you're always going to find found family. Like I think it's quite a big aspect to my writing, but that's a good place to start. And then I've got my Love in Lockdown series, which is obviously False Proximity. That's more of a rom com, more of like a palate cleanser. Like if you
Yeah.
don't laugh out loud to some of those, I would be surprised. Like they made me laugh. I'm one of those people who thinks I'm funny, obviously. And then I've got my it's not dark, but it's more darker themes. I've got my Saved by Two, which is my male female contemporary romance, and that is my bestseller. And a lot of my readers, I'm actually publishing the sequel later on this year,
What's that
or in
one
a
called,
couple of
sorry?
months actually.
You said male, female, and immediately my ears perked. What's that one called
Yeah,
again?
Saved by Two.
Saved by Two.
Yeah.
Well, that's going on to my TBR.
Well, if you read that,
Straight away, to the top. I have to say I do love a female. That's MMF. I do quite like those.
yeah, I
Just,
really enjoyed writing it to be honest, and it's spicy. Like you're not going to find any closed door romance with me. It's all very open, very open. Different berries of spice, but yeah, I have to say that probably Saved by Two was my spiciest, but I think I've upped it with Love by Two. I mean, I couldn't not bring the spice with the sequel.
of
Um,
course.
the readers wanted a sequel, and I was like, do you know what? I'm giving you a sequel, so hopefully they'll enjoy it.
Is it a sequel following on from the
Saved
people in
by
the first?
Two. Yeah,
Yeah.
so Saved by Two does end on happily ever after, but there was a lot of people who said that they could have easily read like 100 more pages, like they wanted more. Because initially it was going to be a series, but it ended up being a standalone. And then I wrote a Why Choose after that, which was my Owls duet. So that's Ours to Protect and Ours to Keep. Ours to Protect ends on a cliffhanger. I'm sorry, I don't know why I did it. But the second book's out now, so it's all good. So that's a Why I Choose, but it's set in the same world as Saved by Two.
Yeah.
And then it introduces the characters again from Saved by Two and where they are now. So then that goes off to Love by Two. So it's a nice little way to sort of like go, you can go back and read Saved by Two and then you can follow on with Love by Two. But yeah, so it's the same world, and hopefully readers will like it. It's been quite an emotional roller coaster, to be honest, because as much as there's spice, there's a lot of emotional elements to it, and I just hope that readers enjoy it.
I mean, we love that. Don't get me wrong, I love spicy romance, but it has to have emotional aspects. It has to have something
Just have a punch.
extra. It's all good having a chapter after chapter of, pure smut, but I personally, I think I love the angst aspect. I feel like a book, I don't read YA. It kind of has to have some sort of spice element. Just I don't really know why. I much prefer it that way.
To have spice in mine, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm happy to not read like loads of it if it has a good plot. But if it has loads of it and it has the emotional aspect, that's even better. That's
It's like a double
perfect. So
whammy.
yeah, because when a spice, like it can have spice, but then it can be lacking the emotional aspect, and that doesn't really do it for me. Like I
Yeah,
can get
you want
quite
to
bored of it
resonate
if it.
with it. You want it to pull at your heartstrings, don't you?
Yeah, there needs to be a good almost
Balance.
balance. Yeah, I definitely do prefer a bit of spice.
I
Can
think
you give us any teasers for your upcoming release or your next work in progress?
I'm working on. It's the same world, so I'm working on characters that I've introduced in Love by Two and the Owls Duet, and I'm absolutely obsessed with my main female character, and her name's Avery. She's a girl's girl, like through and through. Like she's just that person that if you went somewhere, you would want her there with you. She's the kind of person that if you went out to a club, she'd be like, "We go together, we all go home together." She's just such she's what friendship is all about. Like she loves hard, but yeah, like I just yeah, I'm absolutely like I don't know. Sometimes you just have a character and you're just like, I'm literally obsessed with her. Like I know that she's like a character that I'm writing, but I just hope that people like her as much as I do. But from what people have said from the introduction that I've had, where I've introduced her in the Owls Duet, and obviously she's going to be have a cameo in the Love by Two. I think readers are going to look forward to her book, which will be coming out later this year, which is Beauty and Betrayal. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Avery and Mason's story. So hopefully that'll be a male female. So yeah, it went male, male, female. Why choose? Then it's male, male, female again, and then male, female. A little bit of a mix, but yeah, something for everybody, which is nice, I think.
Will that be available for the armories?
Yeah, all being well, it will. Love by Two is coming out. I haven't got the release date. I put the pre-order up for Love by Two for the 14th of August, but I always knew I was going to bring it forward. That's with my editor as we speak. Yes, nervous. So once that comes back, I can say an actual release date, because I want to do a special pre-order for my guys on my TikTok shop. So I'm
Yeah.
doing like a book box for them, and then that'll be available for authors at the Armories. And then I've got Beauty and Betrayal scheduled for November, but I do again want to bring it forward. So fingers crossed, all goes to plan, because you just don't know what's going to happen. So
Yeah.
I say, but I'm on schedule. So
That's so exciting though, another book going out in the world. Nerve-wracking but exciting as
it
well.
never gets easier. If anything, it gets harder. I think
Yeah.
yeah, that imposter syndrome. I hate that. I hate that phrase, like syndrome. But I get it now. Like I never
Mm,
really used to get it until you started publishing. But I will say that comparison is definitely the thief of joy. Like don't compare yourself to other authors. Like I just
no.
no need for it. I think that once you stop doing that, you'll find that you're in a much better place mentally and emotionally. I think it's very important to just enjoy your journey and just write your characters and just be authentic. And I think that
Yeah.
you'll find your way and you'll find your readers. It's just a work in progress.
I imagine it gets harder because it's more pressure. Like the first book that you release is like I'm releasing for me. It's an achievement, amazing. But as you go on, there's more books. Readers love your work. I guess it kind of brings in that pressure of living up to your past books as well.
Yeah, because you don't want to let them down. Yeah, I definitely think there's more pressure with having Love by Two out because it's a sequel. So I feel like that more so than any of my books. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot more added pressure because I know how much people enjoyed Saved by Two, and I don't want to let them down with the sequel. But hopefully they'll all be pleased. I know. To be honest with you, like I'm still nervous. Like it's still got to be, put out into the world. But I am proud of it. So hopefully, the love and the attention I've given it comes through, and that's all.
Will show
That's all
up
you
in the
can
book.
hope for.
I'm sure it will. I mean, I'm excited to read the series now with all the different bits that you've put into it, changing up for everyone with the F, or all the different ones why choose.
Yeah, definitely sword crossing. So if that's your jam, yeah, because I do have a couple of ARC readers as well that don't particularly like Why Choose, and they were like, "Can I still be like an ARC reader?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course you can." Like, I would never. If that's not your jam, you don't have to read it. You can miss it. It's not a problem. But then I've had an ARC reader who doesn't normally read, like, Why Choose, but they read my male, male, female and they loved it. And I was just like, oh, thank you so much. The fact that you've even given it a chance, like that means even more, I think, when
Yeah,
it's not their normal genre or something they wouldn't normally read. But yeah, I've got readers that don't read Why Choose, but they can still read my male, female. So that's nice. But yeah, I would never alienate someone just because they
no,
don't
of
read a
course not.
certain genre. Because I think if you're going to be like, no, well, you have to read it, they're not going to enjoy it. It's not their jam. If they wanted to pick it up outside of that and enjoy it, then that's perfectly fine. But yeah, I'd never force an ARC reader to read something that they don't read.
No, definitely not, because then it will come across in, well, if they didn't like it, then hopefully they wouldn't review it, but then it'll come across in that, and then it's not nice to. I'm very much a mood reader, and I used to do arcs, a lot of arcs, and I've kind of stopped putting that pressure on myself, because as much as I'd love to support these authors, I'd much rather review it in my own time, because it's kind of that pressure aspect. I mean, I still do some arcs because I love it,
Yeah.
but is the pressure of reading it in a time constraint, and if you don't potentially jam with it or whatever, I hate to disappoint
Yeah,
the author.
yeah, I totally get that because I used to before when I used to do a lot of like read a lot of arcs, and I've obviously had to draw on that right, like literally right back. To be honest with you, unless it's an author mutual or an author friend, and they say, "Would you like an arc?" and I'm like, "Oh, I'll take one if there's one going." But yeah, I had to, yeah, because it gets a lot, doesn't it? And it's like you don't want to let anyone down, and it can be a lot. I think I've seen a lot of readers say that they've had to cut right back on the amount of arcs that they read just so that they can like fit them in. And I think that's
Yeah,
you've got to protect your mental health, and there's only one of you as well. I think it's important that you pace yourself. So
definitely.
that's perfectly. I think you've got to do what's right for you.
Yeah, I
100%.
used to be on a lot of different teams, but then a family situation happened, and after that, I was just like, you know what? I didn't do it for a week, and I felt so, like 2 weeks, and I felt so bad that I was letting them down. And after that, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to cut down
Yeah,
because,
you have to do it. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
But no, I love it, and I can still remember when I got my first arc. I went screaming through the house like, "Oh my goodness! I can't believe I got the Valence Reader copy of this book!" And it still happens every time. I still feel so grateful to be a part of that, even if I just don't do as
Yeah,
many.
you're still supporting authors. You don't always have to read arcs. There's other ways to support authors, just even by
Yeah,
liking or commenting on a post. Like you say, you read a book, you leave a review, you love a book, you share a book. I mean, that's all that matters, isn't it? As long as you're doing
yeah,
something you love and sharing it with the other people who love it, that's all you can ask for, isn't it?
definitely. Well, thank you so much for coming on here today. I'm afraid I have to cut it short. I've got to go to work in a little bit.
Sorry, love.
Um, but yeah, it's been great talking to you, and I can't wait to meet you come October at the Armories. I'll be running around like a headless chicken, no doubt. So
If you need a breather, just come and sit at my table. You can take a seat and you'll be fine.
I'll definitely be coming to your table. I'll be looking at the gorgeous books that you have on your table as well, and try not to buy too many. I'm hoping I'm too busy to start
I'm
spending all
already
my
sitting
money.
there writing my little list out. I'm like, right, if I could do this, I'm like, I wonder if that author would do like an author swap. There's so
That
many.
would be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's so cool.
But
But
you
yeah,
do.
I'm.
I sit there. I'm like, oh, because I've actually said to a couple of people, do I pre-order or do I wait till the day? And then what happens if they don't have any on the day? You just don't know, do you? So I'm like, oh, so yeah. Anyway.
It's gonna be so much fun. Yeah, I can't wait to meet you then. Thank you for talking to me today.
Oh, thank you so